Named after the Carrera Pan American road race, Porsche's Panamera is the brand's offering to luxury segment buyers who want spacious rear seat accommodation and a properly sporting Gran Turismo driving experience. This model could have ended up being a four-door version of the company's 911 Coupe or a low-slung interpretation of the marque's Cayenne luxury SUV. In the event, it's very much its own car, a long, low, five-door hatch that offers something very different in its sector. This revitalised version of the Mark II model not only looks a little smarter, but also offers a fresh electrified PHEV option and an uber-powerful performance flagship variant. Whatever your preference, for boardroom buyers who yearn for a brand's hatch, this car promises to be a tempting proposition. Really clever engineering can defy the laws of physics, and if you want proof of that, here it is in the metal. The first generation Panamera handled quite impressively for a model of this kind, but when we tried this second generation version first, this 971 model back in 2017, we felt it was far closer to being the kind of car that Porsche had always wanted to provide in this segment. And so it is with this revised version of that Mark II model. Thanks to fantastic steering and an astonishing lack of body roll on fast-flowing roads, this two-tonne, four-seat luxury segment contender feels almost as agile as a Porsche 911. Or at least it does when it's specified with all the brand's expensive dynamic drive technology. There's a lot of it, adaptive anti-roll bars, PTV torque vectoring, and the rear axle steering system, those are amongst the highlights. PASM adaptive damping, that is standard, but most Panamera customers choose to embellish that with the optional air suspension setup. Now, virtually all of these features have been subtly reworked for this updated lineup. You're going to want to know about the engines on offer with this revised Model 2. All of them these days are petrol powered, and each unit, as before, is mated to the brand's 8-speed twin-clutch PDK automatic gearbox. As before, the range is fundamentally based around two powertrains, either a 2.9 litre V6 or the bi-turbo 4 litre V8 that we're trying here. Of course, though, there are plenty of variations in each case. Some of them are new as part of the work that Porsche has done on these power plants as part of this facelift. Now, your V6 options kick off with the 330 PS unit used both in the two-wheel drive based Panamera model and the alternative Panamera 4, which adds in the four-wheel drive system, which is standardized across the rest of the lineup. This engine also comes in 440 PS guys in the alternative Panamera 4S, or it can be had mated to a 136 PS electric motor powered by a now larger 17.9 kilowatt hour battery in the two mainstream PHEV plug-in hybrid models, the 462 PS 4E hybrid and the new 560 PS 4SE hybrid. Both the 4E hybrid and the 4SE hybrid can now travel over 33 miles between charges. If, like us though, you can't resist the menacing growl of this test car's 4 litre bi-turbo V8, your options start with the GTS model that we're trying today. The output here has been increased to 480 PS. This variant sits below the freshly introduced top Turbo S model, that car offering a prodigious 630 PS, and that's bettered only by the 700 PS that's developed by the top Turbo SE hybrid, and that adds that PHEV tech to this venerable V8. Shut your eyes and picture what a four-door Porsche 911 Sports Coupe might be like, and you won't be a million miles away from the reality of this Panamera. The old pre-2017 first generation 970 series version of this car set out to deliver on that brief too, but never quite managed it. It was sleek from some angles, but it was distinctly awkward from others. Everyone seems to be agreed that this 971 era second generation model is a much more stylish piece of work thanks to its longer wheelbase and its lowered rear roofline. So much so that Porsche wasn't minded to make too many visual changes as part of this mid-term facelift. Now, we're going to get to those after we've taken a moment to better appreciate what's on offer here. Now, for this test, we've chosen the standard body shape, the alternative to which is the almost identically sized Sport Turismo shooting brake estate. Move to the front, and if you owned the original version of this Mark II model, you might pick up on some of the detailed changes that Porsche has made to this updated model. All variants get the previously optional sport design front end styling pack, which delivers these more striking air intake grilles, large side cooling openings, and a single bar front light module. Move to the rear and the sports car cues continue. The restyled three-dimensional LED rear lamp clusters, which now have darkened lenses with this GTS variant, and on all Panameras are connected by this narrow illuminated strip, also restyled and there to help to create a unique nighttime signature. Time to take a seat inside this Porsche sports car that also happens to be a super luxury saloon. You appreciate the implications of this curious combination almost immediately. The low-slung seating layout with its perfect positioning and almost infinite adjustability really is quite similar to a 911's, while the tall centre console that runs down the middle of the cabin here hems you comfortably in, fighter aircraft cockpit style. Virtually nothing has changed with this facelifted version of the Mark II model. There's a redesigned multifunction sport steering wheel, and that's about it. Around the gear stick, there's a shiny black panel that comes to life with touch-sensitive controls once you fire up the ignition. And just above lies the other defining feature of this cabin, the huge 12.3-inch colour touchscreen that now controls the now standard Porsche communication management infotainment system. More screens are also found in the instrument binnacle here, either side of the prominent rev counter gauge. All of this is configurable to your personal preferences as part of one of the most sophisticated cabins that you'll find anywhere in this segment. Let's try the back. Settle in here and immediately you feel a bit more special than you would in rival models thanks to these two individual sports seats that replace the usual bench. You can also add in an optional small 2+1 central rear seat that could be used for a child. As you can see, we've got that here. The main outer seats aren't the compromised pews that you expect to find in something professing to be a four-door sports car. Instead, they offer standards of leg and knee room, really not far off the kind of thing that you get in a similarly priced Mercedes S-Class or a BMW 7 Series saloon. As for luggage space, well, if like us you approach this car expecting that its hatchback configuration would mean a class-leadingly large boot, then you might be a touch disappointed here. Click the key fob button for the standard power-operated tailgate. It's optionally operable by foot gesture, and you'll find that most models offer a shallow-shaped 495 litre capacity. With everything flat, a massive 1,334 litres of space is available in most standard variants. Go for the Sport Turismo Estate model, and a slightly larger 515 litre boot can be converted into a 1,384 litre total loading area. With all body styles, you'll have to bear in mind the caveat that some engine choices will slightly limit the luggage capacity figures that we just mentioned. The market has always offered very fast, very luxurious, full-sized luxury saloons. Rarely, though, have they been very rewarding to drive. The Panamera has always been different, very much in a class of its own for boardroom buyers who don't spend all their lives wafting up and down autobahns. In its earlier forms, it was so nearly a truly great car, so nearly the impressively complete contender that the improved version of this second generation model now is. In summary, if you still enjoy driving and you like the way that this contender looks, you'll love the way it rewards you at the wheel. The Panamera is unconventional, it's unique, but best of all, it's a proper Porsche.